What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're diving back into another Arvon beer. It's not a sour. It's not a New England style IPA. It's going to be a style we don't typically see or play with. It's the Brut IPA, brewed with Citra and Mosaic hops. This is the Brute Force. So if you're like me, you like drier beers, you might like this category. I don't know. It's a toss-up. I have never had a brewed IPA from Arvon. They do IPAs very well. I imagine I might like this one because, again, we're dealing with Citra and Mosaic hops, some of my favorite, some of your favorite hops. Overly used in the brewing industry, let's be honest. So again, Brute Force, this is 5.5% ABV, and it's just kind of a standard label, nothing too fancy, but it was ripped up when I got it, so I thought this would be a good tester, the one that's not in perfect condition, you know, so this is for Dan. Okay, let's dive into this one. No canned on date, which isn't that unnormal or not normal for Arvon. They do and they don't, and there was a big explosion on the top, very foamy. So sometimes we see canned on dates, sometimes we don't. Today we do not. Should be newer though, because this was a brand new drop last week in distribution. So I got it like 5 days ago, something like that. So today is the 28th time of recording, just throwing that out there. If I'm recalling correctly, actually I don't know what day it is. But anyways, it's the end of June. So I actually thought there'd be more clarity. There's not. It's not completely translucent, but again, it is quite hazy, being a brewed IPA. Sometimes you see a little bit more clarity on this. Big head sitting on top. I poured semi-aggressively, and it was very foamy when I popped the top. So there was almost like a carbing issue potentially. I don't know. It looked like the can was beat up a little bit, so this might have been through the ringer. Label beat up. Can beat up. It's been through something, guys, so let's hope the quality is still there. So I'm going to top that sucker off with that beautiful pillowy head sitting on top. Again, this darker copper orange color in the camera, guys. That's about what it looks like, and that's what it is. I smell a burst of citrus. I smell a burst of like stone fruit and tropical notes, and that's not even close to my nose yet. So let's let this settle out for a moment. And again, there is no clarity. Just a dash, but it's still quite hazy for being that brewed IPA. You guys can see it. A little bit of chill haze on it too. It's quite cold. Let's go to an aroma through this thick head. Dank white grape peach, man. That's the instant thought that hit my mind. Dank white grape peach. Yeah, I'm saying it. Zesty candied lemon. Candied grapefruit. Clementine candied halos. Oh, delicious halos. Those little bags, you know, those clementines? Delicious. Sugary clementines. But then there's a little bit of this zesty, pithy quality too. So there's a little bit of that juicy quality. And then I'm getting the pithy mango, the zesty lemon lime kind of complex going on here. It's got a little bit of skin on that pink grapefruit. Apricots. More peaches. Dank mango. So there's this dank complex playing in, probably with the mosaic coming into play. It smells delicious. Smells vibrant, candied, yet zesty and dry at the same time. But it's just erupting with candied fruits and dry fruits and dankness. So let's check this out, guys. Only clocking in at 5.5%, but it smells like it's a New England style that's like 7 or 8%. Brute Force, cheers. Yeah, super dry, champagne-y quality to it. Miller High Life on steroids. More hops, more candied fruits, and then gone, disrupted bitterness, dryness, kiss of floral dryness. It's tropical dry. It's stone fruit dry. It's carved well, but it's smooth, and then slightly bitter and zesty. It's got all these different qualities coming in, but it reminds you it's still that brute style, so bone dry and champagne-y on that back end. So all those things I got on the nose, they seemed so juicy for a moment and yet bitter and dry. That is the abundant thing in this beer, being that brute style. That juiciness, gone. It's completely disrupted. That's not the brewing technique used with this beer. And it's showing, so that is correct. It's got this like malty undertone too, just this burst of malt underneath. Almost just feels like, almost for a moment, like a two heart, that malty big bodied for a second, but then it just disappears, and then you're left with that bitter champagne back end that ends up being quite light and refreshing. But boy, it's a lot of bitterness. So don't get it twisted. It's not like a two-hearted. I'm just using that malt bill for an example. It had that malty body feeling underneath, and then it dissipates with that refreshing Miller High Life back end. Yeah, that malt body goes away, but I want to say that dank white grapey peach, that thing's there, but it just turns into that dry back end. It doesn't stay, voluptuous and juicy. It just goes right into that bittering. But that quality is still there. A little bit of that cantaloupe honeydew melon sitting underneath as well. It's all in there. Probably attributed to the Citra and the Mosaic kind of coupled together. Great beer. You have to like dry, bitter beers, though. This thing is Brut, and it's showing, and you can feel it on your tongue and your teeth. It's just, that's the style it is, and it's playing up to that part. Very good. That dank, piney, bitter back end just really sits with me. The more I'm having this, it's erupting in my mouth. It feels dominating, and it really is climbing up on your tongue, that bitterness. It really hits you pretty good on that back end. It's good beer. It's a good beer. It's true to the style, and it's got a little bit more hoppiness than some of the other Bruts I've had. I've had one from like Old Nation, maybe that like B43 kind of complex to it. It feels that way, yet this feels a little bit more bitter and piney and slightly herbaceous on the back end. It's good beer. You have to like the dryness. You have to like the champagne feel to it. I'll let you guys decide. For me, this is up my alley. Quite hoppy for being only 5.5%. Feels more like a 7% beer with that hoppiness and that dryness and that bitterness on the back end really erupting. A little bit of that peach thing, a little bit of that grapefruit, a little bit of that lemon still playing in the front end. Driving right into that malt body. Then it dissipates. So, rating, where do I want to put this? It's quite dry, quite bitter. Quite champagne-y, like I've said over and over. I like the hops in this. They're done really well to make this formula. But it's not necessarily always my favorite category, but I do like it. So I'm going to put this at a 3.85 out of 5, guys. It's really good for the style. I think it adds a little something unique, and it gives you a little something extra if you're an IPA lover. Yeah, it's the Brute Force from Arvon. Thanks for being here. It's another Arvon review. I'm over and out, guys. Catch you on the next review. Cheers.